Bills Mafia, A-plus mock draft time.
Nobody circles the wagons like the Buffalo Bills.
This is the Sportsocracy, and at ESPN Draft Nerd, Jeremy Greene has your best possible outcome for the 2023 NFL Draft. The Buffalo Bills sitting with the number 27 overall pick in the first round.
And you have to feel the need that you lost when Tremaine Edmonds walked out the door. And so, with your first-round pick, I'm doing that with Jack Campbell, linebacker out of Iowa. You talk about a kid that can do a little bit of everything. This is the definition of a three-down linebacker. He checks every box. The 25-2,000 club, yeah, he's in that. 25 games, 2,000 snaps. He's a good pass rusher. That's probably the biggest weakness in his game. But then you get he's a 4.65 guy at 6'5", 250 pounds. Really good against the run, really good in coverage, really sound tackler. This is a day one plug-and-play replacement to Tremaine Edmonds. And I feel like linebacker now is your biggest need. Could you draft Osiris Torrance here? You could, but I think you can add an interior lineman later on in the draft. I'll tell you who that is momentarily. That can start at guard, slide into center when Mitch Morse is ready to move on.
In the second round, pick number 59. Let's go with a wide receiver. Best damn wide receiver name in the draft.
Oh, because his name's Tank?
Tank Dell.
Well, his name is Nathaniel Tank Dell. This is a playmaker. And I'm looking at Buffalo now going, all right, I love Stephon Diggs. I love Gabriel Davis. I need somebody in the slot. And I know you've gone Isaiah McKenzie, you've gone Jamison Crowder, you've done all those things. This kid will terrify you with the ball in his hand. He runs like a running back. Now, does he run the most glorious route tree you've ever seen? No. Is he going to struggle against press? Probably a little bit. But you have Stephon Diggs and Gabriel Davis that you have to shade attention to. You mix that with Dawson Knox, James Cook, who I think is going to be coming out of the backfield, and now you've got weapons that mitigate the fact that the offensive line is not quite as good as you want it to be. I wanted to take a lineman here. There's not going to be one that's not a gross reach. In an A-plus mock draft, I'm not reaching at any point because I'm looking at players I like down the line, and it's value-based drafting, situational awareness. Tank Dell is the last of that tier of receivers. There's a big-ass drop-off from him. Guys that I like, Tank Dell's the last one that I think you can be a legit playmaker in this league.
Number 91 in the third round.
Jaquelin Roy, defensive tackle from LSU. I'm really high on this kid, and I'm not 100% sure I know why. 6'3", 305. Buffalo's already had him in the building on a top 30 visit. He was a really ballyhooed recruit. I never saw it out of him to the level that I wanted to, but I think there's more there. The size, in terms of size, you couldn't cleft a defensive tackle out of granite better than Roy. Great motor, scheme versatile, all of those little buzzwords that you expect people like me, Mel Kiper, Todd McShay, to say about a defensive tackle like this. The problem is that he's really inconsistent. If the best 10% I saw out of him, he had hit that to even 30 or 40%, he would have been an easy end of day one, beginning day two pick. It just didn't happen that often. I have a funny feeling that's because of what was happening with Ed Orgeron, and then he just didn't fit what Brian Kelly wanted to do. So this is a projection. Now, it's a projection that's coming from a lot of NFL teams because this kid has been really popular in the pre-draft process. You also only had the 1 year of him as a starter, and it was with Brian Kelly, who did not recruit him. I think he was square peg in a round hole. I have him much higher among defensive tackles than, I'm not going to say everybody in the industry, but the common. If you did a consensus ranking, I am higher on him than everybody else is.
The Buffalo Bills pick in the fourth round comes up at 130.
And this is a guy that they have had pretty significant interest in. I can't remember if I know they met with him at the combine. I can't remember if they had him in the building or not. Juice Scruggs, the interior offensive lineman out of Penn State. I think he would start as a guard. And you have a guard problem. Mm-hmm. Ultimately would be a center. Another ballyhooed recruit that went to Penn State. And he's been good, not great. But then he has absolutely crushed this process. Every person I've talked to that has been around the combine or has knowledge of anything teams are thinking, they all talk about this kid's going to be one of the – him and Brenton Strange also went to Penn State. They're two that have just screamed up boards here late in the process. He's got a first step out of the set that is about as good as any interior offensive lineman I've seen in the last handful of years. Now, where does what is that word I say with offensive linemen a lot, which is why they're not projected as highly as some would think. What's that word? Starts with L. Very lungy.
Lungy.
Yeah. He tries to do too much. And sometimes he overextends and it'll get him out of position. And I'm going to be honest with you, I think, now this is me just, I'm projecting. I think if you play him at guard early, I think he'll stop doing that. I think you get him as the pulling guard and he stops having to set off a snap, which he had to do at Penn State. Mm-hmm. I think you'll teach him to stop overextending. Body frame, there is no reason he should do that because he's very strong. I'm not telling you, hey, it's freakishly high, that the ceiling is freakishly high. I think the floor is insanely high.
In the 5th round, 137, Viliami Fehoko. Did I get that right?
You did. Speaking of incredibly high, or speaking of upside, this kid could be a really good pass rusher. He's not right now, but he has all of the intangibles. I really liked some of the things he did at the Shrine Bowl, and they ran a 4.77 at 6'4", 275. And for whatever reason, we've gotten to a point where 4.77 is just, well, that's too slow to do X, Y, and Z in the NFL. You know what he can do? He can put his hand in the dirt and get after a damn quarterback. And that's all I really want. We're focused too much on the athletic limitations and not enough on the film. And we do this every single year. And this is how you wind up taking athletic guys that can't play dead in a Western. Fehoko can play. He can absolutely play. Does he need to get stronger? Yeah, he went to San Jose friggin' State. All right, so I'm going to say that the conditioning program and the strength program was probably not up to NFL standards, and you get him in an NFL weight room for 2 years, and I'm telling you right now, this kid's going to be a player in the league.
All right, the final pick of the draft, 205 in the 6th round.
This is another really popular player in the process, and I think it's because somehow we didn't see much out of an Ohio State player, and his name is Cameron Brown, cornerback. Didn't play a ton. Had a few injury issues, but in that limited amount of film, there was enough for me to go, you could be real good in the NFL. And I am notoriously down on Ohio State corners. Mm-hmm. You remember the first year we did this, I crushed Okudah and I crushed Shaun Wade. What you're seeing in the Big Ten is not what you're going to see in the NFL. Mm-hmm. I saw enough of this kid that I can't figure out why he didn't play more. That's the one thing that bothers me. And there have been a lot of teams that wanted him in the building, wanted to talk to him, wanted to get a feel for where his head was at, and why did you not play more? Because he played almost 40 games but barely broke 1,000 snaps. That's bizarre, especially for a guy that the tape that we've seen is really good. Strong against the run. He's that willing run defender that you love when I say. Really good. The back pedal's good. The change of direction is good. The biggest problem I have is experience. And I think if you get him a little bit of that, and I'm not sure he can't be just an absolute home run.
All right, the A-plus mock draft for the Buffalo Bills, starting with a linebacker. It was a little bit of a surprise, but Jack Campbell's on the rise.
Jack Campbell's going to the back end of the first round. I don't really say he is, but he is. It's not a huge leap above the Deion Henleys and guys like that, but he is, I think, clearly made himself the number one linebacker, and I won't be shocked if Buffalo's the first team to take a linebacker off the board.
Yep. Nobody circles the wagons like the Buffalo Bills, and nobody mock drafts like Flostradamus Jeremy Greene.
I try, and before you call me Flostradamus, just know that's been said a lot. It's not original. It's not new. If you like these picks, if you hate these picks, feel free to comment that in the comments. We will have one more 7-round mock draft, and that will be my full number 1 to number 256 mock, where you don't see the same player twice. And that'll be coming out next week on the channel, leading up to every pick live of the 2023 NFL Draft right here on the TubeU.
Like this video, share it out with your friends as well. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel so you can join us every day when we're in the Ingles studio, and also for all of the picks of the NFL Draft. We'll be live right here on the YouTube stream, and we will see you then.